Welcome back to Anacaps. Today, I'm going to explain the anime called Blood Blockade Battlefront. Watch out for spoilers ahead, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. The story begins with a young man writing a letter to his younger sister, Michelle. He narrates his adventures in a strange place, saying that he wants to tell her everything he's encountered. We're then shown the young man running through a crowded and dirty New York City. He narrates that people pick fights a lot, the wages aren't enough, and the people are unfriendly. A news broadcast relates what happened some time ago when a gate opened out of nowhere and the other world began its invasion. A large mist appeared, blocking the entire city. By the time the US government arrived, it was already too late and the city was engulfed in an impenetrable mist. Other than knowing about its existence, the people are clueless about what's in the other world. However, we can see that monsters and humans are living together in harmony. The young man narrates that 3 weeks ago, he was ready to accept his lack of luck and the city's absurd nature. The young man gets blown away from an explosion, forcing him to stop running. Another man confronts him, introducing himself as Zap Renfro. Zap asks the young man if he really thinks he's qualified for something called Libra. The young man finally introduces himself as Leonardo Watch. In a flashback from several hours earlier, Leonardo is in a diner, talking to a waitress. He's a reporter in training, but has no luck in breaking a story yet. He's given a free meal when his camera is stolen by a sonic speed monkey. As he was chasing after it, he gets himself caught in the middle of a robbery. The explosion that happened throws him to the ground, and then he meets Zap. Zap takes Leonardo to the Libra headquarters, mistaking his identity as someone named Johnny. Once inside, he meets two other people, Klaus von Reinhurst, the leader of Libra, and Chain Sumeragi, another member of Libra. Klaus greets Leo, also believing him to be a man called Johnny Landis. However, Chain says it's impossible that he's Johnny, because she got word that he's dead. They figure out that Leo is an imposter. As Leo apologizes to the trio, a broadcast is shown on TV about the robbery earlier. A man suddenly appears in the broadcast and introduces himself as Fempt, the king of depravity. He also calls himself the extraordinary masked phantom who rules Hell Salem's lot. Suddenly, a phantom appears out of the sonic monkey and slices a part of the nearby building. Fempt explains that he wants to play a game, and they need to find the gate that split the robber in two before the demon does, and then destroy it. Klaus asks Leo if he saw what happened, and Leo says yes. Klaus then asks Leo what he's really after, and Leo explains that 6 months ago, his parents brought him and his sister to Hell Salem's lot, hoping that his sister might get healed and be able to walk again. Then the mist had appeared, and a monster appeared right in front of them, asking them to choose the witness, the one who no longer needed to see. Zap asks him if he sacrificed his younger sister's eyesight to the monster, and Leo can only cry, saying that he was a coward who couldn't move. Just then, a barrage of bullets rains down on them from special ops agents, asking them to surrender. Klaus cryptically tells Leonardo that he now knows his powers and the circumstances in which it was given to him. He makes a proposal. Leo would help them out, and Libra would help him achieve his goal. Leo accepts, and Klaus welcomes him to Libra. Klaus fights the special ops on his own, using his brain grid blood battle technique, killing many in a single blow. Meanwhile, Chain follows the escaped monkey, flanked by Zap and Leo on a Vespa. Chain calls them up and says that the monkey is moving in their direction and that the gate will now open up. However, a mysterious attacker slices through the air and destroys the buildings near it. The diner is affected, and the waitress Leo was talking to earlier is hurt. Zap manages to destroy the monster with his Big Dipper blood fighting style, but it regenerates easily. Leo runs to the gate as Zap continues to battle the monster, and Leo finally uses his powers. It turns out that Leo can see into great distances, called the all-seeing eyes of the gods. He sees a flea on the monkey, which is the one opening up the gates for the monsters, and kills it, effectively stopping Fempt's plot. Leo settles in with the Libra, meeting another member called Gilbert Alstein, and tries to get used to their crazy antics. Meanwhile, Klaus meets up with Steven Starfaze, Libra's second-in-command, who explains to him that Leo's power, the all-seeing eyes of the gods, can gaze into the past and future. It's such a powerful weapon that Steven warns Klaus that a lot of people will come after Libra now that Leo is part of the team. Meanwhile, Leo started a new job as a pizza delivery boy. He unknowingly arrives at Zap's apartment where he sees him naked with several women inside. Zap refuses to pay for the pizza, which leads Leo to take it back, and they get into a chase around the city over pizza. Leo makes another delivery with Zap in tow when he suddenly stops in front of a dry cleaner's van. Zap is confused, but Leo points out that he can see a monster inside the van. Zap makes a call and has Libra investigate the van. but they're tailed by the monster and attacked in the middle of the city. It confronts them both and takes Leo away. Inside the van, Leo sees vacuum-sealed humans with him, and the monster tells him that those are its food. Leo comments that eating humans is prohibited for monsters, but another monster laughs him off, saying the chances of them getting caught are very slim. Sonic the Monkey and Leo are deeply troubled, thinking of ways to escape. Meanwhile, Chain picks up Zap from the hospital. As it turns out, Zap had managed to stick a tendril of blood in Leo's shirt before he was taken away. Back in the van, Leo manages to activate his powers and attack the monster's eyesights, leading to them losing control of the van. Chain and the rest of Libra follow the trail of blood and manage to rescue Leo. Leo is heavily injured but alive. It's also revealed that Zap was tasked to babysit Leo for fear that he might get attacked. Later, somewhere in the hospital grounds, Leo sees a cemetery where he meets a strange ghost girl named White. White asks Leo to be friends, but Leo can only take a picture of her in response to see if she's really a ghost. She then jumps onto Leo, waking him up from his dream. As he wakes up, his landlord evicts him from his apartment, leading Leo to move into the Libra office. Libra are investigating a new case called the Angel Scale drug, which temporarily alters human physiology, leading to them to survive getting fatally wounded. Libra needs to find the dealers of this drug, but they don't have any leads so far. Klaus meets up with another Libra member, KK. Together, they visit a place in the other world where they meet someone named Olchenko, a chess grandmaster. Klaus, KK, and Olchenko go underground and are greeted by Don Arlalel, a powerful mob boss in the other world. Don Arlalel lures them in with Prosphere, an otherworldly game similar to chess. As it turns out, Olchenko visited the other world to obtain nuclear weapons for his country if he wins the game. He has to last 9 hours, force a draw, or win against Don Arlalel to have his request granted. If he loses, Don will take his life. For an additional request to dispose of Klaus and KK, who are waiting outside of the game room, Olchenko's limit is extended to 10 hours. In the end, Olchenko loses and is almost killed. However, Klaus asks Don Arlalel for another game. If he can outlast the mob boss for 99 hours, he'd spare the life of Olchenko. If he doesn't, Klaus will die. Once they're playing, Klaus makes another request to the Don. This time, he wants information on Angel Scale. Klaus manages to outlast the Don, and they're given the trafficking routes of the Angel Scale. Meanwhile, Leo develops a friendship with White. At a party in Libra's headquarters, Leo feels a little out of place. He shares a recent experience on the subway where he saw a creature with bright red, ring-shaped lights. As the rest of Libra listens to what he has to say, Klaus asks him if he indeed saw it, and Leo confirms. Zap tells him that what he saw was a vampire. Libra calls in a specialist by the name of Lucky Abrams, the world's leading vampire hunter and Klaus's mentor. While shopping, they meet Lucky on the street and bring him to the headquarters. Apparently, Lucky's special ability is being unlucky. He brings with him misfortune wherever he goes, although he's never personally affected by his bad luck. Leo presents them a hand from Elder 13, which still grips a piece of paper from many years ago, twitching as if it's still alive, even after being separated from its original body. Lucky ponders that the paper holds the true names of the Elder 13, and asks Leo to take a look at it using his divine eyes. However, when he takes a look at it, Leo is hit by bright light from the hand, clouding his vision. Zap, Leo, Lucky, and Klaus board the train to the other world. Once there, Lucky records a video with Leo, hoping to get a glimpse of the Elder 13. Leo looks with his divine eyes and sees the bright red wings flying towards him, damaging his eyes. Meanwhile, Gilbert calls Klaus after getting a request for backup from the FBI. It seems that the FBI agents are engaged in battle with Elder-class bloodbreeds, or vampires. Steven and KK are on the case, using their abilities to fight the enemies. Steven uses his Esmeralda Blood Freeze attack, which can freeze enemies, and KK fights with 954 Blood Bullet Arts, a gun that can electrocute enemies. Chain records the events from a distance and streams it for Klaus. Klaus, Leo, Zap, and Lucky watch as KK and Steven are injured. Next, Klaus jumps out of the moving train and attacks the two following vampires, managing to seal one in his eternity prison. White and Leo hang out in her ward, with White seeming to be mad at Leo about something. As Leo ponders about what this could be, Zap takes him out to go get something to eat. They travel by motorcycle, and after bickering for a bit, Leo takes control of Zap's eyesight, leading them to almost get hit by a semi. Just as they think they're safe, the truck turns into a monster, which then chases them all around the city. Klaus and Lucky visit someone in an asylum nearby, and they meet with Dog Hummer, another member of Libra. Dog's blood spurts out from his arm and starts talking. It's revealed that Dog's blood has been replaced by the liquefied body of a serial killer named Deldro Brody, and both men share one body. Lucky warns Dog that someone called Aligura, the woman responsible for this monstrosity, has come back to recapture Dog and Deldro. As Leo and Zap try to lose the monster truck, Leo flies off the motorcycle and gets stuck in one side of the truck. He gets captured by a woman controlling the monster truck and introduces Leo to her boyfriend, Deldro. The woman is Aligura, and she explains that she transferred her boyfriend's body to Dog because he's handsome and Deldro isn't. As Aligura closes in on them, Dog and Deldro spring into action, with Deldro covering Dog's body to create Exo Crimson, their combined ability, which lets Dog gain immense physical strength. Together, they're called Bloodhammer. Aligura tries to converse with Leo about girls, and Leo finally shares his recent problems with White. She gives him advice while attacking police forces with her truck. Steven tells Leo that they're about to blow up the truck he's in, and he's tasked to take control of its vision to direct it to Libra, who are waiting to ambush it. At phase 3 of their plan, Deldro and Dog manage to stop the rampaging truck with one punch, with Leo and Aligura flying out from the wreckage. Poor Leo gets more stitches in the hospital where he sees White talking to a handsome doctor. Feeling frustrated, Leo visits White's room again and asks her to go see a movie, after which they share personal stories with each other. After getting takeout from a diner, Leo waits by a pedestrian crossing. A monster crosses the street to him, only to get hit by a truck passing by. As Leo rushes to check in on the creature, it asks him for a bite of his burger. Leo comes back to check on the monster again, only to see it get scammed by the people who hit it with a truck. He tries to tell the monster that he's just paid 4 times the amount of his burgers, but the monster tells him that not a lot of humans go to that area, so he almost never gets a chance to eat burgers. Leo befriends the monster and tells him that he'll now buy it the burgers without any increase in price. The monster introduces itself as an edge. Together, they eat burgers almost every day and talk about their lives. The 2 truckers from before, who turned out to be gangsters, are in trouble with their boss. The distracted driver hits Nej, again, as he's crossing the street, which angers one of the gangsters and starts beating it up to the horror of people watching. After beating it too much, Nej explodes with gas, which makes the people faint. The 2 gangsters flee the scene. Libra hears about the mass fainting and learns that it was accompanied by mass amnesia. Leo hears about this and goes to search for Nej. He finds Nej in a back alley where they're both abducted. Leo wakes up to Nej getting hit repeatedly by one of the gangsters and overhears that they want to collect the fainting gas to make their boss forget about their debt. Leo uses his divine sight on the 2 gangsters, who lose their sight momentarily. However, Nej still gets hit over the head with a bat. As he starts to bleed out, he loses control and spews out the fainting gas once more. Leo wakes up, unable to remember anything in the past 2 weeks, including memories of Nej. However, they meet again in the same way they met before and become friends again. Leo visits White's room again, only to see her with a guy. He introduces himself as White's brother, Black. Black takes Leo out to lunch to get to know him more, where she tells him that White has a weak heart. They bond over various things, including being cowards. However, when Leo is about to get splashed with hot coffee, Black freezes it midair, revealing that he has psychic abilities. Meanwhile, Zap makes it his mission to finally beat Klaus and make him lose his cool. He gets kidnapped to make Klaus come after him, and Klaus arrives at the scene only to get dragged into an underground battle arena. He participates in the fights, defeating opponents left and right despite using his bare hands. The owner of the arena enters the ring to fight too. Klaus punches half of the boss's face off, revealing him to be a blood breed. He gets beaten, and Zap apologizes for his behavior, though he does manage to fool Klaus into thinking he actually got kidnapped. Meanwhile, Leo gives Black a ride back to his house, but Black isn't who he seems to be. He's actually one of the Elder 13. It's then revealed through a flashback that Black and White's names are William and Mary, respectively. Meanwhile, we get a glimpse of Zap's carefree life as he gambles, drinks, and womanizes his life away. That is, until he meets Angelica, a cashier at a local fast food chain. He falls in love at first sight. He keeps ordering at the local chain, only to get a little chubby from all the processed food. He also asks Angelica for her number every day, only to be called a stalker. Sometime after, Libra gets a call to seal a blood gate opened by a blood breed before it completely destroys the city. Libra is on the move, and Klaus is tasked to seal the gate himself. A fight occurs in the middle of the city as Libra takes on the blood breeds. Zap is chased by his former master, who defeats and seals the blood breed on his own. Zap's master, Zhuge, makes Zap interpret for him and gets acquainted with Libra. He admonishes Zap for his recent behavior. He takes Zap with him to train him again, but when Libra asks Zhuge to reconsider, Zhuge puts Zap to the ultimate test. He would let go of the blood breed and let Zap reseal it himself. Zap defeats the blood breed easily after Chain fakes a call with Angelica, helping Zap spur into action. This earns him praise from his master. Meanwhile, Black and White talk to each other in White's ward. He asks his sister where he had met Leo, and she lies and says the hospital. Black tells White that the first time he met Leo, he had told Black that they met at the subway before. but Black doesn't remember any of that. This prompts White to stop her brother from speaking anymore, seeming to stop her brother from remembering anything else. Libra is having trouble sealing the blood breed into an Elder Seal because they can't sense its name. Klaus suggests that it may be because it got separated from its heart when Juge battled it earlier, leaving the rest of its body to operate independently. Elsewhere, Black confronts his alter ego, the King of Despair, with whom he shares one body. Libra is now on a mission to get the blood breed's name, confronting half of its body and defeating it. Leo sees a bright light surrounding the entire building, reaching into the earth below. It pulses like a beating heart and then implodes. Back in the hospital, White suffers from severe chest pains. Inside the building, Juge's other disciple, Zed, arrives as reinforcement to help seal the blood breed. Zap and Zed battle the blood breed together, eventually defeating it and helping Klaus seal it into the Eternity Prison. However, as Juge leaves, he also entrusts Zed to Libra. Elsewhere, the King of Despair, Fempt, and Aligura are waiting for the battle to finish when Aligura hands the king a pair of modified glasses, which he happily accepts. In a flashback, we see White and Black meeting each other amidst a wrecked city. A mysterious orb appears, and Black offers his body as long as his sister won't be harmed. The orb incorporates itself into Black's body, eventually introducing itself to White. White wakes up to see Black, who she quickly realizes is the King of Despair, and he instructs her to get Leo's divine eyes for him. In exchange, he'll give Black back to White. Back in the present, Klaus sees Leo trying to write to his sister and gives him a donut. Leo, Zap, and Zed try eating lunch together again, but have trouble getting along, much to Leo's despair. Meanwhile, Libra gets another case from Lieutenant Daniel Law about a new mafia gang trying to wreak havoc in the city. In a building, Libra meets the League of High Order Spirituals, a group that has reconvened the original casters, the people who raised the barrier around New York City, to stop something called the Great Collapse. They're greeted by someone with teleporting abilities and someone called the Doctor. In the middle of conversing with the Doctor, the men get a call from Daniel about information on the new mafia. Meanwhile, Leo is having trouble getting Zap and Zed to get along. They eventually decide on a place to eat, but get interrupted yet again by a disgruntled woman. The unlikely trio keep trying to find other restaurants to eat in, with each one weirder than the last. The trio try one last time, this time at the diner, and Leo cries at the sight of his meal. But before he, Zap, and Zed can eat, they get attacked. The trio walk out of the diner to be met by numerous monsters who fall from the sky. Lucky, Klaus, and Steven are taken somewhere underground where the Doctor explains to them that the barriers have been damaged during their last fight with a blood breed. Meanwhile, the King of Despair helps out a woman getting attacked in a back alley. White meets with Leo and Zed at the hospital after Zap gets food poisoning. Once alone with Leo, White takes him to the church by the cemetery and traps him there with the King of Despair. She asks him for his divine sight. White narrates that her ancestors have possessed psychic powers since the very beginning, becoming casters, but the powers skipped her. This makes her a little resentful and miserable. She watched her twin get bullied, asking him why he never fights back, but he only answers that he's not good at fighting. This makes her even more upset at seeing her brother get beaten every day. She also talks about her parents using their gifts to save humankind from time to time. Bullies take her camera away, her only solace at that point, and Will tries to take it back, only to fall into a river which almost drowns him. She yells at her brother to use his powers to save himself, crying as she does so. A couple of years later, Mary and Will and their parents are caught in the middle of a wrecked city. That's when Will shared his body with the King of Despair. Back in the present, Mary apologizes to Leo as she tries to take his divine eyes away, sealing the makeshift glasses onto his face. Once she does so, Leo faints and the King of Despair takes him down to the other world. The King of Despair reveals that the barrier that holds NYC from the Great Collapse is actually Mary's heart. He shoots Mary, and the second Great Collapse begins. Leo tries to figure out a way to escape as a fog engulfs the entire city, with the King of Despair announcing that it's now the second Great Collapse. Libra tries to locate Leo before it's too late and tries to save the city from collapsing too. They get information that Mary was fused with the force field around the city, and now that she's about to die, the city will collapse. Leo's eyesight is compromised because of the glasses, and Fempt tries to entertain him with the game. Leo refuses, however, and Fempt leaves him trapped to meet up with the King of Despair. Sometime later, Libra has learned of Leo's location, and Zap and Zed head towards him. However, Libra are attacked by zombies that seem to come out of nowhere as entire cities shift and fly up into the sky. Leo manages to escape and meets up with Sonic, who gives him a recording of Mary giving him instructions on how to find the King of Despair. Klaus reaches the King of Despair first, and they fight while conversing, with Klaus essentially saying he'd never give up on saving William. Meanwhile, Leo runs to find the king himself, encountering many problems on the way. Klaus and the king continue to fight, and Klaus is heavily injured. The king explains to Klaus that he didn't choose William, Will chose him. Before he can finish Klaus, Leo arrives just in time. With his eyes, he sees White, and tells her not to give up and to step into the light. Sometime later, after Leo's astounding monologue, White wakes up to Leo looking down at her. Leo asks her if she's okay, and the two talk for a bit. Leo then headbutts Black out of the king to separate him, and the king tries to subdue Mary, who's coming towards him. Will wakes up to Mary lying down beside him. With one last goodbye, White disappears, becoming a new force field around the city with Will's help as the caster. The city is saved at the cost of Mary's life, and Leo walks to inspect the wreckage where he reunites with Klaus. Klaus says that he's proud of Leo, and Leo, overwhelmed and exhausted, starts crying. And this brings us to the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.